If you've been scrolling through endless embroidery machine reviews, watching video after video, and still can't decide whether the extra Wi-Fi or the bigger design library actually matters for your projects, this review is going to clear that up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a few evenings actually loading the Brother PE900, testing the mobile app, and stitching a mix of quilts, tote bags, and a custom hoodie, so I can tell you what works in a real workshop and what feels more like a marketing gloss. First off, the biggest question most beginners ask is whether they need a machine that talks to their phone. The PE900's built-in WLAN lets you send designs straight from the ARTSPIRA mobile app. In practice, that means you can sit at your kitchen table, open a design on your phone, tap send, and watch the needle start moving without ever touching a USB stick. For anyone who already uses a tablet for pattern inspiration or runs a small Etsy shop where you need to tweak designs on the fly, that wireless workflow cuts down the download print skin loop to a single tap. If you're the type who prefers a hands-on approach plugging a USB drive into a desktop computer and scrolling through folders, then the wireless feature is a nice extra but not a deal breaker. The embroidery field measures 57 inches, which is the sweet spot for most hobby-level projects. I tried a full-size monogram for a wedding napkin set, and the machine handled the stitching without any need to reposition the fabric. However, when I attempted a larger logo for a tote bag, something that would need a 78-inch area, I hit the edge of the hoop and had to split the design into two sections. So if you regularly work on larger patches or blankets that exceed the 57 envelope, you'll either need to accept stitching in pieces or look at a machine with a bigger hoop. Brother ships the PE900 with 193 built-in designs, ranging from classic florals to modern geometric patterns. I found that the library covers the starter needs nicely. The moment I wanted something beyond the preset set like a custom family crest, I turned to the ARTSPIRA app where you can import .ps files. The import process is straightforward. Choose the file, preview it, and the machine automatically adjusts stitch density. The only hiccup I noticed was that the app occasionally lags when loading a particularly complex design with many color changes, which can be a minor annoyance if you're on a tight deadline. Now let's talk about the thread set that comes bundled, the ETKS63 Pacesetter 63 color collection. Those colors are the standard palette you see in most beginner kits, and they're enough to finish a decent variety of projects without constantly buying new spools. I used the set to embroider a multicolored baby blanket, and the colors blended well enough that I didn't feel the need to supplement with extra shades. The downside is that the set doesn't include specialty threads like metallics or glow-in-the-dark. If your creative vision leans toward those niche finishes, you'll need to purchase them separately, which adds a bit to the overall cost. One practical strength that shows up after the first few weeks is the machine's automatic needle threader. It saves a few minutes each time you change colors, and it works reliably with the thicker embroidery flosses included in the Pacesetter set. The tension adjustment is also motorized, meaning the machine reads the thread type and makes the appropriate tweak. For users who have struggled with manual tension settings that result in puckering or loose stitches, this auto-tension feature feels like a genuine time saver. On the flip side, the auto-threader sometimes hesitates with very fine metallic threads, requiring you to finish the threading manually. It's not a fatal flaw, but it's worth noting if you plan to experiment with those kinds of threads. The PE900's LCD screen is a modest 3.2-inch touch display. It's bright enough to see the design preview clearly, and the touch interface lets you scroll through the built-in library without needing a remote. When I was stitching a set of holiday ornaments, I could zoom in on the design directly on the screen and make fine adjustments without pausing the machine. That said, the screen is not a full-color tablet. You won't see the exact thread shade on the preview, so you still need a little trial and error when matching colors from the Pacesetter set to the design you're executing. If you're a hobbyist who wants to step up from a basic single-needle sewing machine and dip your toe into computer-controlled embroidery, the PE900 hits the right balance between features and price. The wireless connectivity, decent hoop size, and generous built-in library make it feel modern without overwhelming a newcomer. On the other hand, seasoned pros who regularly produce large-scale embroidered garments or need an industrial-level speed might find the 57 hoop limiting and the stitch rate modest compared to commercial machines. Who should buy it? Think of anyone who already enjoys sewing, wants to add personalized stitching to gifts, or runs a small side business where the ability to quickly